Welcome back to another episode of the Draw Control podcast. On today's episode, I'm joined by senior on the Towson women's lacrosse team, Blair Goodrich. Last season, Blair made it on the CAA All-Tournament Team and ranked first on the team in caused turnovers with 31, which was second in the CAA. Blair, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on the podcast. And how's everything going?
It's good. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Well, I'm very excited to have you on today as well. And obviously, the summer is just wrapping up. So, how was your summer? And did you do anything interesting, whether it was lacrosse related or not?
It was good. It definitely went by pretty quick, but I'm super excited to get back. Probably the most crazy thing I did was I went to San Diego for my brother's USA games. That was really cool. We were out there for like 11 days, so that was a lot of fun. A lot of trips to the beach, but other than that, nothing too crazy.
How was San Diego? I've never been there before.
Oh, so nice. That was my first time too. It was 75 like every day. It was nice in the mornings, nice in the evenings. It was super pretty. Super cool. Saw some seals, which was really cool. Got to watch some lacrosse and my brother got a gold medal. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, congrats to him on that. That's pretty cool.
thank you. Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah, I don't know anything too much about San Diego, but I had a friend that went to a Padres game and he said he really liked their ballpark a lot. And it looked really nice from the videos that he sent me. So I feel like I gotta go there sometime and check it out.
Yeah, our we had like a little Airbnb and we were right next to the stadium and it was really cool. So it's definitely a cool place to
For
check.
sure, for sure. Well, obviously, what have you been working on in regards to next season for your training? Was there something that you sort of want to improve on the most for your game heading into next season?
Yeah, I think kind of my biggest thing was obviously to get in shape. It's kind of hard working by yourself, like working out by yourself in the summer and stuff. So kind of just finding that motivation to continue to work, continue to train. Obviously getting new coaches was kind of a big motivation thing for us. So, just getting into better shape and kind of working on my game. Was pretty much my goal. We got a new strength and conditioning coach, so I think that's going to be another huge thing for us. I think we're going to start to train a little different, so I'm super excited. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Now, what are your team's goals and expectations for next season? Because obviously you had a pretty good season last year, getting 11 wins. How do you hope to improve upon that?
I think with the new coaching staff, we're trying to figure everything out a little bit. And obviously with like losing seniors, gaining freshmen, it changes every year. So I think our biggest thing is kind of creating, these new connections and goals and kind of just taking it game by game and obviously trying to have a positive attitude through everything. I feel like our biggest goal is probably winning the CAA and making it to the NCAA playoffs. That's kind of everyone's goal. But I think with the new coaching staff and our new strength and conditioning coach and a kind of a new team, I think our biggest goal is kind of just making these connections and good relationships with everyone and kind of just having a strong team and winning some games.
Now, when do you guys like officially start practicing as a team?
So for the first couple of weeks, we just do 8-hour weeks. So it's just a lot of, conditioning and lifting and training for the first couple of weeks. So we start getting into lacrosse and play days in like, I would say about like 3 weeks. So just, kind of working with each other, working with different like groups of girls, kind of seeing how we play together, building connections, like I said, and kind of just seeing how everything lays out. New coaches coming in, we're not really sure, what their game plan is. So kind of that kind of helps us in the play days, kind of to just play with each other, see where that is, see how the coaching is, and we just train each day and kind of just build, a stronger team.
Now, like you mentioned, there's obviously been a coaching transition at Towson. What's that been like as a senior, sort of trying to learn the different play styles, I guess, as with the new coaching staff and sort of how they do things versus the other one?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a shock when it all kind of happened. And I mean, not to only just lose one coach, we lost all of our coaches. So definitely was a big step, especially coming into senior year. You think it's going to be fun senior year, you kind of got your place already. So, I mean, it was definitely really, I'm super excited. I think it's going to be a good beginning for Towson women's lacrosse. Super excited for my old coaches. They're going to go kill it at UVA. So I think I'm just excited. We haven't really been super coached by these new coaches yet because we haven't started yet, but I think everyone's super excited. Everyone's super positive, and I just want to have a fun senior year, and I think these coaches are going to be awesome.
Now, being a senior this season, which is pretty crazy to think about how time has flown by, what type of leadership do you want to bring to the team? Would you consider yourself more of a vocal leader or lead by example type of player?
Yeah, I definitely lead by example, I would say. I can definitely be vocal, try to be positive, especially on the hard conditioning and lift days. But my biggest thing is like if you're gonna talk the talk, you like better walk the walk. I kind of go off that, I don't want to be a leader that is just saying a bunch of stuff, kind of to just be a leader and not doing it. So I think just being positive, being a strong leader, also being a good friend and a good teammate to everyone. My biggest thing is like open communication between teammates and coaches, and kind of just having these strong relationships and building them up every single day. And then just striving to always have a positive team with a strong structure. I feel like some days it's hard because things go wrong sometimes, and you kind of have to be that bad guy, but I think at the end of the day, always just coming back, knowing that we're a family, knowing that we're going to be friends at the end of the day, after a loss, after a win, So I would say I'm kind of both, but I definitely like to lead by example.
Now, have you had the chance to sort of meet any of the new freshmen this year, and what have they been, I guess, like for the first week of practice and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we officially start Monday, so we haven't like been able to play together yet, but we've met on Zooms, we met in person. We actually have a team dinner tonight, so that'd be really fun. They moved in Wednesday and Thursday, so a bunch of our teammates went and like helped them move in, got to meet their parents. Obviously we met some of them on their official visits, so we kind of knew their names, kind of seen them around, but super excited to start playing with them and kind of get on the field and build those stronger relationships. Yeah.
So let's transition now and talk about the beginning of your lacrosse career and sort of go back down memory lane a little bit with your career with Towson. So you're from Maryland, Chester to be specific. So talk about growing up there and how did you start playing lacrosse?
Yeah, so I probably started when I was around 6. Both of my brothers played growing up, so it kind of I kind of just followed after them and started playing. All of our family friends and my really close friends played lacrosse as well, so that's kind of how I got started. Ken Island is a small place. If anyone's ever been there, it's very tiny. Everyone kind of knows everyone. I love living there. It feels like I'm at the beach all the time. I live on the water, so it's super, super nice, especially during the summer. Definitely love it there. And I'm super close being at Towson, so I go home a lot to get a good meal and get my clothes washed. So it's nice. I've made great friends there, and definitely playing lacrosse helped that too. I've learned a lot, and I think, I love Ken Island and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Now, growing up, like who is your favorite players and teams that you like to watch?
Mhm. I definitely grew up watching more men's lacrosse, I would say, just having two older brothers who went and played lacrosse in college. I would definitely say I didn't really watch a lot of women's lacrosse, which is kind of funny, but when I did, I definitely watched, the bigger schools like Maryland, UNC, those big like Shannon Smith, Taylor Cummings, those kind of big schools and big players. But I would say I really liked watching men's lacrosse, kind of just watching my brothers. I liked watching them play. That was probably like the most fun I had going on the weekends to the Naval Academy or Towson and watching them play.
And like you sort of been mentioning throughout this interview, you grew up in the lacrosse family. Both of your brothers played lacrosse collegiately and had a lot of success. What is your relationship like with them, and how have they helped you in your lacrosse career growing up?
Yeah, I mean, we're all super, super close. I went to all of their games growing up and have been traveling around to see Zach play in the USA and the PLL, so that's super, super fun. They've definitely showed me what, great and skilled athletes are. they push me to do my best and definitely congratulate me when I do good, which is really nice. So they have a great work ethic and they're definitely my role models. And it's super, super helpful having them, especially being the youngest. They like to bully me and push me around, but it definitely helped me become a better athlete.
Did you ever try to push back a little bit growing up?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And then I would probably end up crying, thinking of my mom, but no, they were great. We definitely bumped heads, but as we gotten older, it's definitely gotten a little better.
Well, that's good to hear. Um, and before college, you played for your high school at Kent Island, where you had a lot of individual and team success with that school. So, what was your high school experience like, and how do you think it sort of helped prepare you for college lacrosse with Towson?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely prepared me. I was able to play against, other skilled players who were committed to play lacrosse at school, so that was super amazing. Also just, meeting coaches, being coached by college athletes definitely helped too. They kind of, got us ready for what, college was going to be like and playing lacrosse. Just able to train and, get better every day was definitely super helpful. It kind of stank my senior year. I lost my lacrosse season to COVID. So that kind of stank, but I got to play with all my friends every year. So it was a lot of fun, going out there, beating our rival schools, winning Baysides and regionals. So it was a lot of fun and it definitely taught me a lot and, kind of how to be a leader and, lead by that example. So it was a lot of fun.
Do you have like a favorite memory from your high school lacrosse days when you look back on it now?
Um, I would say probably, our rival school is Queen Anne, so that was probably, one of the best times is obviously going in and beating them. Night games, winning Baysides. I would probably say one of my favorite was beating Stephen Decatur in Baysides, and we had a lot of close games with Easton as well, and beating them in regionals and stuff. So there's a lot of great memories. I probably can't pick one, but kind of just winning the big games with my friends was probably the best. My sophomore year, we like went undefeated and made it to the semi, so that was pretty cool. And being Kent Island, being a small school in a small town, it's great making it that far. And kind of the town like coming around us and cheering us on was a great experience as well.
Now, what was your recruitment process like with Towson, and what made you want to go there versus other schools you might have looked at?
Yeah, so, my recruiting process was not like super stressful, which I'm so grateful for. I had some big decisions, some big calls, but other than that, Towson made it super, super easy for me, and I think that's kind of why I picked it. It was kind of the only really visit I came on was to Towson. They made me feel super comfortable, super welcomed, and I pretty much committed at Towson just because, of the culture and the environment. I spent a lot of weekends here watching Zach play, so I kind of knew what it was like. I kind of knew the campus, just seeing all the fans and all the team and everybody coming together on game days. I think that's kind of what got me to come here. I loved all the girls in my class and the coaches, so that also made, the decision a little easier. I just knew this kind of was like a place I would come, grow as a lacrosse player and get a good degree at the end of the day.
Now, as a freshman, what was like the biggest adjustment you had to make to college lacrosse?
I would definitely say time management. I think kind of just finding the balance between, training every day, playing lacrosse, having classes in the morning and in the night, it gets tiring. Definitely figuring out you need extra meals, extra sleep. But I think kind of just finding that balance, finding time for yourself, finding time for your team, finding time for your friends and family, I would just say time management between lacrosse and school was probably the biggest adjustment. And, kind of you're thrown into the dorms and you're kind of living on your own. And I'm definitely a little spoiled. So kind of going from, being at home, being spoiled, having great meals to kind of coming to the dorms and eating, cafeteria food. So it was definitely a big adjustment, but kind of just learning to take time for yourself and, just finding that balance between everything was probably the biggest.
How do you balance lacrosse and academics?
I'm still trying to figure that out as a senior, but I don't know. I think kind of just figuring out the time and kind of setting time aside for everything. My biggest thing is I always wait until the last minute to get finish classwork or write a paper. So that's probably not the best advice, but just kind of keeping everything separate. Like when I'm at lacrosse, I don't think about school. And when I'm at school, I try to not think about lacrosse. So kind of using them as a time to like just focus on one thing and kind of get away from something else. So I just there's some long nights, some early mornings, but I think the biggest thing is just, not getting too stressed out because you will figure everything out. And especially at Towson, we have all the resources for everything. We have great academic advisors, we have great tutors, great coaches who want us to do well. So that definitely is very helpful.
Now, during your freshman year, your team made it to the NCAA tournament for the first time in your career. Talk about that experience and just what you took away from that game against Stony Brook.
Yeah, so I didn't really play much freshman year, but obviously being on the sideline and cheering on our team was a great experience. I think watching that game, I kind of wanted a chance to compete with them. And, the 2 years after that, they came into the CAA. So now we get to play them every year. And I think they're a great team, a great competition. So I think it helps us to get better. And, now we get a chance to beat them.
Now, let's sort of skip ahead to this past season because I thought you improved a lot between your sophomore and junior year. What would you say was the biggest improvement you made to your game throughout your collegiate career that sort of led to the success that you've had on the field so far?
Yeah, I think my biggest thing was kind of learning how to control my emotions. On and off the field, I feel like if I did one, bad play, especially my sophomore year, I would really get on myself, and that at the end of the day didn't do much good for anybody. So I think kind of just learning that, understanding that I don't have to be, the playmaker, and I don't have to go out and make these huge plays and do all that, and just knowing that I have a job and just going out and doing my job. My biggest thing I would always tell myself, and my coaches would always say to me, is like, just be where my feet are and not worrying about the last play, not worrying about the next play, and just taking it one play at a time. If something did go wrong, I would always say to myself, like, next play, best play, like just move on. Like you just can't dwell on the past, make the next play your best play. And it's definitely something I got past my sophomore year. I let my emotions probably get the best of me. And, I was going out, getting a lot of fouls, getting some yellow cards. So I think kind of just controlling myself a little better and just knowing that I have a job, just do my job, and my team can take care of everything else.
How'd you sort of work on your defensive part of your game? Because obviously that was the biggest improvement felt like that you made, and obviously creating cause turnovers. How do you sort of work on that? Because obviously it showed in the stat sheet this past year with the amount that you had.
Yeah, I think I just, my teammates, they definitely prepare me for a lot. My roommate, we're always taking 1v1s against each other. Just working every day, just kind of working on changing my game a little bit every day. Definitely working on controlling my checks and kind of just knowing when it's the right time to, try to get a calls turnover. I definitely feel like I play a lot better or I feel that I played a lot better when I see that I have a lot of calls turnovers. So that kind of boosts my confidence a lot. So, just kind of trying to change my game every day. My teammates obviously pushing me, my coach is pushing me. So that's pretty much it.
What's it like playing in the CAA and just the competition you face each game?
Yeah, it's definitely great competition, great players, great coaches. It's always changing and we're always getting new teams. Teams are leaving, which is kind of fun too, because it's not the same thing every year. There are also always usually close games, which is a lot of fun and some of the best games to play in because, we're playing to win something. So it's kind of a little more fun to play in as well. And the past 2 years I've been playing, they're usually super close games and, they're just always super fun. Um, and obviously winning those games means a little bit more to our team. So I would say I've made some of my greatest memories playing in CAA games. And also we just gained Campbell University and my best friend plays on that team, so I get to play her this year, and I'm super excited for that as well.
That should be a fun game to be a part of.
Yeah.
So now you scored your first collegiate goal last year as well against Monmouth. Talk about that goal and sort of what it meant to you.
Yeah, I just kind of ran with it. I don't think I was really aiming to shoot, but no one really picked me up, so I just kind of kept going. I wouldn't really say I was aiming for anything. I kind of just shot it and it happened to go between the goalie's legs and went in. But no, it was super exciting. It was super fun to have all my teammates there cheering me on. My family was there, so that was really great too. So it was super exciting. I had my goal song play that I haven't heard in my whole college career. So that was super cool. Super cool experience. Definitely a great memory, but I would say I got pretty lucky on that shot.
What's your goal song?
Power by Kanye West.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's like 30 seconds long and that's it. But I've only heard it once, but it was great.
Did you do any cool celebration, or was it more just like you threw the stick on the ground and was just
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I kind of forgot I had to throw my stick down actually, but I threw my stick down and then my teammates were all jumping up, giving me hugs, everything. So I didn't have anything too crazy, but it was just fun celebrating with my teammates.
Now, obviously, your season came to a close against Stony Brook in the CAA playoffs. Even though you lost that game, what'd you take away from it that you think's going to help you during your senior year?
Yeah, so we played them in the CAA, like the regular season CAA, and we had a super close game against them. I think we lost by two or three. So obviously, kind of going into the CAA championship, we knew how they played, and knew that they were obviously going to change their game. They have a great coach, they have a great team, so we knew that it was going to be tough. I don't think we knew we were going to lose by that much, but it's a long weekend. We had a game, 2 days before that. That was kind of a close game too against Drexel. So, it's kind of mentally exhausting, physically exhausting, but super fun. We learned from it, especially with new coaches. It's going to be a different team, so we never know what's going to go on, but I'm super excited. We know how they play now. We get to play them twice again, hopefully twice again. So super excited, but it was definitely a learning moment.
So let's transition now to a segment I like to call five questions that have nothing to do with sports. And the goal of the segment is to hopefully get to know you a little bit more off the field. So, first one is, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
So my favorite actress is Blake Lively. And I know that's a stretch because she is gorgeous and a great actress, but I think probably her. She seems like a pretty down to earth person, and she's been in great movies, so I would probably pick her.
Didn't she play a character named Blair that was like super popular? Or my
She was Serena in Gossip Girl, and her best friend was Blair.
Oh, okay, so that's a good connection. That's a good
Yeah.
connection. I always say this is sort of similar to your answer. I always say if there was a movie made about my life, I would have Ryan Reynolds play me, even though we don't look anything alike. I just think I want to brag to people saying that he played me in a movie. So
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
think it'd be a lot of fun. So that's sort of similar answer to yours.
yeah, and she's been in, great movies, so I just think she would be a good choice.
Now, what is the most underrated holiday and what's the most overrated holiday?
I'm gonna start with the most overrated. I think the most overrated is probably New Year's. I feel like school's still happening, you go right back to school a couple of days after that. It's cold, I know myself, I always make New Year goals and I usually don't do them, so it's usually more of a just a disappointing thing than it is, encouraging. So, I would probably say New Year's. The most underrated is probably my birthday.
That's a good
I
one.
love I love my birthday. I'll talk about my birthday for the whole month, especially I just turned 21, so that was definitely a big one. So I love my birthday. I want everyone to know it's my birthday. So
When is your birthday, if you don't mind me asking?
November 21st.
Oh, that's cool. Mine's 8 days after that on the 30th,
Really?
so very similar. Yes, yes, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I'm about
So
to turn 22, so I'm feeling a little old.
Well, I wish you a happy early or belated birthday
Thank,
in August while we're recording this before the 21st happens. So
thank you. Same to you.
I would say the most I agree with you, most underrated or overrated holiday is probably New Year's Eve, I think.
Yeah,
Just because you're just waiting for a clock to turn midnight. It's kind of boring. Like I wish it was just a little more low key than people make it out to be. And
yeah,
then underrated, I'd say is Thanksgiving, just because it sort of gets overshadowed by Halloween and Christmas. But in
yeah.
itself, it's a really fun holiday to spend time with family and watch football as well. So that's always a good one.
The food. Yeah, I love Thanksgiving because it's also it's pretty close to my birthday, usually pretty close to our birthdays. And so sometimes I would be off school, which was nice, and you're getting close to break, so that's always fun. But yeah, I love Thanksgiving and I love the fall. So Halloween and probably Thanksgiving are probably like my favorite. I love 4th of July. It's always a fun one.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I'm a little lucky with my birthday because it's since it's the last day of November, it never happens on Thanksgiving. So I always get my own day. And it's nice because it's Thanksgiving, my birthday, and then Christmas, but it's too far away from Christmas to sort of try to group it all in together. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think I feel like my birthday day is one of the best in the calendar if I had to pick any.
Obviously, yes.
Um, what is one item on your bucket list that you would hope to do one day?
Um, I would say swim with sharks. They're my favorite animals. I think they're super, super cool. A super neat animal, and I think sometimes they get a bad rap, but I think they would be super, super cool to swim with. I've been snorkeling a couple times, I've seen a couple of Nerf sharks, but I think like actually going swimming with them would be super, super fun. And just go snorkeling and scuba diving would be super cool.
I would hope there was a cage involved if it's like with those great white ones. Those seem too
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
too scary.
yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to be like the Blake Lively movie when you're getting tormented by a great white shark.
Yeah, no, no, no. I would say for me, just travel different spots. I think that would be pretty
Yeah.
sick. Like to go to Australia or Hawaii. That those places seem a lot of fun. So I'd probably pick that for my bucket list.
Yeah, we have a teammate, Osha. She's from Australia, and my old coach was from Australia too. So it definitely seems like a cool place.
Now, what is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Probably I saw this crazy story. I love TikTok too, so I see crazy stuff on that. I don't know if you know the like emergency slides that come out of airplanes. I guess if like the airplane like lands in the water or something, they have a like inflatable slide that pops out so
I did not know that.
people can like come from the door of the airplane and they like shoot down a slide. It actually fell out of an airplane in the air and landed in someone's backyard. And it
Oh
was just like
wow.
a huge inflatable slide that was obviously deflated, but it literally landed in someone's backyard. It was like in Chicago or something by the airport, but it was super crazy.
Well, luckily they weren't outside doing yard work or
Yeah,
something. That would be kind of crazy if that happened. I think I would be very going nuts if that happened, if that
yeah.
took place. So,
And it's probably super heavy too. So
oh yeah, you have to get someone to like take that away. So,
yeah.
I would say for me, probably just seeing the Trump mugshot. I just thought that was
Yeah.
pretty interesting, and I don't know. I thought the picture went pretty. I thought it looked pretty well in that. Though if you have to make a mugshot, you have to make it look cool. So I thought you looked cool in it.
It's definitely a Trump thing to do.
Last non-lacrosse question is, I think you have the best style on the Towson women's lacrosse team, but besides yourself, who would you say has the best off the field style?
Um, I would probably say Hallie Chorus, she's a junior, and Lindsay Clark, who's also a senior. My roommate's probably gonna be mad I didn't say her, so maybe I'll add Lindsay Marshall too into that, so I don't get yelled at.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's get back to some lacrosse questions now. First one is, what should be done to help grow women's lacrosse from your perspective?
Yeah, so I think kind of the biggest thing is kind of, better streaming to watch games. I know even my relatives, they kind of struggle to watch my games because we're on Flow Sports and, it's probably not the best streaming out there and it's kind of tough to watch our games and they only let like one person watch at a time. So I think probably that would be a big step. I think more social media exposure, kind of what you're doing, I think is great for, the game and kind of just getting, kind of like underrated players, kind of getting them out there a little bit more and kind of just taking over social media a little bit more for women's lacrosse, I think would be great. I think I know we have kind of a professional league, but they only play for a little bit of time. So I think maybe having a professional league that plays like all summer, kind of like the PLL, or even like an indoor league, something like that would be super cool.
Well, for all the younger players listening to this episode, what advice do you have for them on what it takes to be a college lacrosse player like yourself?
Yeah, I think kind of just finding that motivation to, train and get better every day. Days are long, and I think, that hard work that everyone's putting into the game, definitely pays off. So, it doesn't, the days are long, but it doesn't really equal up to the great memories you make. So, just keep pushing, keep finding that motivation, and, it's definitely going to pay off when you get into college, even high school. I had some of my greatest memories in high school, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. So, it does get better. Your body's sore, you're tired, you're mentally tired, but, I wouldn't trade that for any of the memories I've made with my team, my coaches, even my family, just being around lacrosse. So I think, just pushing, trying, the sprints and the lifting, it definitely makes you a better athlete, and knowing that you can't just step out on the field and, play lacrosse, that you have to put in the days. So just keep grinding. It's pretty much just a grind, and finding that grit, I think, is probably my biggest advice to everyone who wants to play in college or even wants to play in high school.
Well, before we end this interview, Blair, do you have any shout outs you want to give to any of your family members, teammates, or friends? And who should we have on the podcast next?
Definitely just a shout out to my team, my coaches, my family. I would say Allie Heath. She's my best friend that plays at Campbell. I think she would be great for the podcast. She's done really, really well at Campbell, so I think she's going into her 5th year. She just came back from an ACL tear, so I think she would be super, super good for the podcast.
Well, definitely reach out and see what happens. But thank
Yeah.
you so much, Blair, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time. I think you're a great player and an even better person. I just want to let you know that. And best of luck for next season. I know you guys are going to do good.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. This is super, super great for women's lacrosse players. So thank you.